1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. 5, 6, pick up sticks. Silence. Absolute silence. Am I being ostracized? Well, boys, what went wrong?
Fred, I don't know what you mean.
Sure, you know what I mean. You're not talking to each other. You don't even look at each other. There's some kind of tension between you. What is it? Is it guilt feelings with embarrassment?
Don't you think you're being a little presumptuous?
Nah, I know the gay scene. I learned it from my kid brother. He came out early, younger than this boy here. I know the gay scene, and I know the language of it, and I know how full it is of sickness and sadness. It's so full of sadness and sickness. I could almost be glad that my little brother died before he could be infected with that sadness and sickness in the heart of a gay boy. This kid from Iowa here reminds me of how my brother was. And you remind me of what he might have become if he'd lived.
Yes, you should be relieved he's dead then. Excuse me, won't you sit down?
You think I'm still standing?
Perhaps we took your table.
Nah, I don't have any table. I'm moving about tonight like an animal in a zoo because tonight is the night of the Deathday of my brother. And look, the barman won't serve me. He thinks I'm on a mean drunk. Do me a favor and order a double bourbon and pretend it's for you. Do that, and I'll love you for it. And of course, I'll pay you for it.
Barman, I'd like a double bourbon.
Now, what went wrong before you two come in here? You can tell me, and maybe I can advise you. I'm practically what they call a FagHag. I always locate at least one gay bar in whatever city I'm in. I live in a home on wheels. I live in a trailer. So I've been quite a few places and have a few more to go. Now, nobody's paying any attention to us. They're involved in their own situations. What went wrong?
Nothing. Exactly, I just made a mistake. And he did too.
Ah, mistakes. How did you make these mistakes? Nobody's listening. You could tell me.
I passed him riding his bicycle up Canyon Road, and I stopped my car and reversed it till I was right by his bike. And I spoke to him.
What did you say?
I said, "Did you really ride that bike all the way from Iowa to the Pacific Coast?" And he grinned and said, "Yes, he'd done that." And I said, "You must be tired." And he said he was. And I said, "Put your bike in the back seat of my car and come home with me for dinner."
What went wrong? At dinner? You didn't give him the dinner.
No, I gave him drinks first because I thought that after he'd had dinner, he might say, "Thank you, good night."
Do you work for the movies?
Naturally, what else?
You're an actor. You act in them?
No, scriptwriter.
Ah, you write movies, huh?
Mostly rewrite. Adapt. Oh, I had a bit of a setback when they found me too literate for my first assignment, converting an epic into a vehicle for the producer's doxy. A grammar school dropout.
Name?
Quentin. Miss...
Leona. Dawson. And he's?
Bobby.
Bobby, come back to the party. I want you back here, love. Resume your seat. I don't think that monkey-faced mother is going to serve us those drinks. And I never left a bar without leaving $1 tip on the table. And this is the thanks I get for it, just because tonight is the night of the Deathday of my brother, and I showed a little human emotion about it. Now, what went wrong between you and this kid from Iowa where the tall corn blows? I mean, grows.
I only go for straight trade. But this boy, look at him. Would you guess he was gay? I didn't. I thought he was straight. But I had an unpleasant surprise when he responded to my hand on his knee by putting his hand on mine.
What are you looking at?
The fish over the bar.
Oh, you're changing the subject.
Suppose I woke up some midnight and saw that peculiar thing swimming around in my bedroom up in the canyon.
Impossible.
Granted, it's impossible, but suppose it occurred just the same, as so many impossible things do occur just the same. Suppose I woke up and discovered it there swimming round and round in the darkness over my bed with a faint phosphorescent glow in its big goggle eyes and its gorgeously iridescent fins and tail making a swishing sound as it circles around and about right over my head in my bed. What do you think I would say?
To the fish?
To myself and the fish.
I'll be raped by an ape if I could imagine what someone would say in a situation like that.
I would say, oh well.
Just, oh well?
Oh well is all I'd say before I went back to sleep.
You know what I'd say? I'd say, get the hell out of here, you goggled-eye monstrosity of a mother.
You don't see the point of my story?
No.
Bobby, do you see the point of my story? Oh, maybe I don't either.
And why did you tell it?
What's the thing that you mustn't lose in this world before you're ready to leave it? The one thing you mustn't lose ever.
Love.
Ha!
Interest?
The word I had in mind is surprise, though. The capacity for being surprised. I've lost the capacity for being surprised. So completely lost it that if I woke up in my bedroom late some night and saw that fantastic fish swimming right over my head, I wouldn't be really surprised.
You mean you think you were dreaming?
Oh no, wide awake, but not really surprised. There's a coarseness, a deadening coarseness in the experience of most homosexuals. The experiences are quick and hard and brutal, and the pattern of them practically unchanging. Their act of love is like the jabbing of a hypodermic needle to which they're addicted, but which is more and more empty of real interest and surprise. This lack of variation and surprise in their love life spreads to other areas of sensibility. Yes, once, quite a long while ago, I was often startled by the sense of being alive, of being myself living, present on earth in the flesh. Yes, for some completely mysterious reason, a single, separate, intensely conscious being, myself living. Whenever I would feel this feeling, this shock of what? Self-realization, I would be stunned. I would be thunderstruck by it, and by the existence of everything that exists, I would be lightning struck with astonishment. It'd do more than astound me. It would give me a feeling of panic, the sudden sense of, I suppose it was like an epileptic seizure, except I didn't fall to the ground in convulsions. No, I'd be more apt to try to lose myself in a crowd on the street until the seizure was finished. They were dangerous seizures. One time I drove into the mountains and I smashed the car into a tree, and I'm not sure if I meant to do that or... In a forest, you'll sometimes see a giant tree that's scarred, that's blazed by lightning, and the wound is almost obscured by the obstinately still living and growing bark. I wonder if such a tree has learned the same lesson that I have, not to feel astonishment anymore, but just go on, continue for 200 or 300 years more. This boy I picked up tonight, this kid from the tall corn country, still has the capacity to be surprised by what he sees, hears, and feels in this kingdom of earth. all the way up the canyon to my place. He kept saying, I can't believe it, I'm here. I've come to the Pacific, the world's greatest ocean, as if nobody, Magellan or Balboa or even the Indians had ever seen it before him. Yes, like he had discovered this ocean, the greatest on earth. And so now, since he'd found it himself, it existed now for the first time. Never before. And this excitement of his reminded me of my having lost the ability to say my God instead of just, oh well. I've asked all the questions, shouted them at deaf heaven till I was hoarse in the voice box and blue in the face, and gotten no answer. Nothing at all, you see, but the sun coming up each morning and going down that night. And the galaxies of the night sky trooping on stage like chorines, robot chorines. 1, 2, 3, kick, 1, 2, 3, kick. Repeat any question too often and what do you get? What's given? A big carved rock by the desert, a monumental symbol of worn-out passion and bewilderment in you. A stupid stone, paralyzed sphinx that knows no answers that you don't, but comes on like the oracle of all time, waiting on her belly to give out some outcries of universal wisdom. And if she woke up some midnight and saw that fantastic fish swimming over her head, you know what she'd say too? She'd say, oh well, and go back to sleep for another 5,000 years. Your bicycle's still in my car. Shall I put it on the sidewalk? You'll find it here by the door.